This is Outside the Round with Matt Burrill, a Raise Rowdy podcast.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Outside the Round with me, Matt Burrill. Today, a very special guest. He is the pride of Gastonia, North Carolina, the Cowboy Casanova himself, our boy, Dalton Davis.
How's it going?
Brother, I haven't seen you in a minute. It's been a while.
I was thinking that when I was coming in. I was like, dang, I don't know if I've seen you maybe in a year or so.
Yeah. Do you remember the first time we hung out?
Key West.
Key West Songwriters Festival, baby.
You guys got me my first round in Key West ever. So.
Bro, and that was a time. Key West was a vibe.
That was Key West 2023.
I think so, yeah. 2023. So coming up on 3 years ago.
Yeah, I just moved to Nashville that March.
Yeah, because I remember Sam Crabtree was
Shout
texting
out to the
us
Gastonia homies.
Bro, yeah. Do you come from a spot where there's a lot of great guys? I mean, I know the whole area of Gastonia. Everybody jokes that it's the gateway to Charlotte, but really Charlotte is the gateway to Gastonia.
100%.
As my buddy Boogie Tate likes to say. But you like the Willafords and Sam and Brooke Lee and yourself and Boogie, and I know Cameron Marlowe's from not far out there, but...
And then the kid in town, Alex Graham, he's a singer. He's from Gastonia, too, so there's a whole little squad from us out there.
Yeah, man. It's a vibe, man. And you can feel the Carolina roots in your music, and, like, you sing about Appalachia and the world that you know, and being the little brother to Charlotte in a way, where it's like, you know, it's cool, man. But how's life been? It seems like... It's been a damn rocket ship here lately, huh?
We've been going a million miles an hour, that's for sure. It's definitely everything that I ever dreamed about and more, and twice as fast as I ever thought it was going to be. So, I feel like every day I'm like, all right, I'm about to sit down and we're finally going to get a little break. And then someone's like, hey, we need you to do this, or you got to do this. Or, hey, did you post a TikTok today? And I'm like, no, I didn't. The Dodgers are about to play, but...
Yeah, dude, it's wild. How'd all this landman stuff happen? Because that's been a pretty big moment here lately, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Got a phone call, said, hey, do you want to cut this song? And I was like, sure, can I hear it? They sent it to me. I was like, yeah, who wrote this? Billy Bob Thornton and Ronnie Bowman and Mark Colley. And I was like, yeah, 100% I'll sing this song.
Like, I'll cut that.
They're like, when do you need it by? Today at 10 o'clock. I was like, oh, okay. So we ran over to the studio, recorded it as quick as we could, sent it over, and then they hit us up and like, hey, you want to go to the premiere in New York? So we flew out to New York and got to meet Billy and some of the guys on the cast and kind of had a cool hangout. Then the next couple weeks we had the CMA after party, and next thing you know, I'm sitting over there kicking it with them, and he's like, hey, man, let me hear that song. And so I showed it to him. Then we get a call. It's like, hey, this is on the soundtrack. And it's kind of wild seeing a show that you watch, and next thing you know, your song's on the soundtrack,
Yeah, dude, it's wild, man. So take me back to you first moved out here, you said 2023.
Mm-hmm.
So what led to the path of you making the jump? Because Carolina, a lot of people don't know this. There's a lot of places to play out there,
100%.
And you can cut your teeth. I know you spent some time out in Chattanooga as well, that southeastern Tennessee region, another spot where you can get gigs and you can make a living doing this thing. But what was kind of the catalyst for, I got to get here to Nashville?
I think I didn't come to Nashville as long as I could because of that exact reason, from Carolina to Chattanooga and everywhere in between in that little 2.5 hour region, there's plenty of places to play. But then Nashville kind of started calling, and it was one of those things that's like, oh, okay, like, they know who I am. I should at least go, like, see what this is about, take a couple meetings. And I always wanted to be a songwriter, and I'd never really done any co-writes. And the first meeting I had in Nashville, I got plugged into a whole little network of songwriters. And next thing you know, my first couple Fridays in Nashville, I'm writing with Jonathan Singleton, and I'm like, there's no way I'm not coming to this. And I remember something that I kept getting told by a lot of the guys when I first got here. They're like, you got to be present to win. You got to be present to win.
Got to be on the field to win at the game, man.
100%. Yeah. Like, you can keep getting cool songs, driving back and forth from Chattanooga to Nashville. He's like, but every night when you drive home, there's another event that you could be networking at, or somebody that could be meeting or here and play a show, or asking you to play a show. And so I started taking that into a lot of consideration. And then a bunch of my friends moved up here, and I was like, all right, well, if it's game time, it's game time. Let's go, And there's, love Chattanooga. There's a huge music scene there. There's only so much of a country music scene there. So I feel like we had gotten to the point of like, okay, what's the next step? And so I was like, all right, Nashville's the game plan.
Yeah, man, and luckily for you at that time, Chat's really not that far away.
No, it's right down the road.
There's a lot of people that take weekend trips from Nashville down to that region, and popping down into the Smokies region and all of that stuff, man. So it's not that far away. What's it been like now having a team, man? Like, you're on a pretty damn good label. Like you're really doing this thing.
I'm very thankful to be signed. We signed with MCA Republic in August 18th, I think, was our official day. And, it's definitely one of the wildest things we have a call every Monday at 2 o'clock and every Thursday at 4 o'clock or something like that. And I get on, and when I first got on, I thought it was going to be like, management, like one or two other people. And then you just get on the Zoom list and you start scrolling and you're like, holy shit, there's a lot of people on here.
Yeah.
And then they're like, all right, Dalton, so what do you think? And you're like, oh shit, and I'm in charge. Like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's the best part.
It is the best part and the most terrifying part. He's like, oh, wait, like, I got nobody to blame this on. This is all, like, if this doesn't work, it's because I didn't do what I was supposed to do, So it's kind of a humbling experience, but also a very exciting experience.
Yeah, man. Tell me about Cows in the Front Yard, which to me is such a Dalton Davis song. Like, when I think of you, man, like you pulled up in the old beater truck. We're sitting outside having a smoke before we come in here.
100%.
Cows in the Front Yard. I'm like, that is a Dalton Davis song.
Well, I gotta say, it's not too much of a beater. It's the 7.3,
The 7.3. Okay. Well, I'm looking at it like it is a countryman's truck.
Oh, yeah,
That's
100%.
more what I'm saying.
Growing up in town, like, that was the truck. Like, all the cool kids when I was, in middle school, all the cool high schoolers had a 97, 95, 7.3, and I was like, all right, one day when I get the money, I'm going to buy one of those. And that's kind of what Cows was about. I got a call one morning. Messy, my producer, he called me and was like, hey, I got a write going on over here. It was a guy, Jet Harvey and Christian Stallnecker, who I ended up writing Cows with. They had written a different chorus that morning, called me and said, hey, will you come sing the chorus of this? So it was like 9 o'clock in the morning. Anybody who knows me knows I'm not recording no music at 9 o'clock in the morning. But I was like, all right, if it's Messy's asking for me, I'll go.
Yeah.
So I got up, drove over there, and I get in. I honestly couldn't tell you what the chorus was about at all. But we go in, we sing whatever the chorus was, and then we start kind of just shooting the shit. And Christian tells us this story. He said he just gotten back from Texas and seen this HOA neighborhood with, at the end of it, he was like, it had to be the president of the HOA because they had fenced off in their front yard and cows in this big HOA neighborhood. And it kind of just provoked this conversation like, oh, okay, like that's the dream right there. And, spitballed, snowballed, and 2 hours later we had cows in the front yard. So.
That's awesome, man. I love that your sound is so distinct as well, because there's a lot of folks that, obviously a lot of guys and girls doing this country music thing, and there's all the different flavors of ice cream with different subgenres within it. But it's like when I hear your voice and sonically, it has that throwback to it, and then also some touches of the modern thing, but your voice is so distinct that it's the moment you hit that song on one of the streaming platforms or hear you live, obviously live, we're seeing you, but it's like that it's you singing.
I think a lot of that has to do with where I've come from. I've been really blessed to have a lot of musical influences and mentors in my life who've kind of helped me not only grow, but also find who I was. And being blessed, the guys that are around me singing in the band and that we write with are some of the best singers I've ever been around. So you sing with those every day, you're like, all right, well, I can't do what he can do, so I'm going to have to figure out what I can do and really dial in on that. And that's helped me a lot.
Yeah, man.
Being around a lot of cats better than me.
Yeah, man, it's a team sport.
100%.
It's a team sport.
Rising tides lift all ships.
Dude, Nikki T says that shit all the time,
Yes,
dog.
sir.
That's like been Nikki T's like motto since I've known him. Is that, man?
It's the truth.
So how did 2025 go for you overall? It's crazy that we're in January of 2026, isn't it?
Truly is insane. 2025 is so wild because I started off the year, we had put out, I think, 2 or 3 songs, maybe. I think 2 songs.
Yeah.
And we were, excited about it, had just signed a publishing deal and was like, what's going to happen? And then in February, I'm flying to New York to meet with Republic, and then March I'm in MCA, and I'm like, oh, the year just started,
Yeah.
And we put out another song, and things kind of started rolling, and we started catching some steam in Canada, and the next thing you know, we're in record label negotiations, and I'm like, what? How did we get here? And it's such a wild experience because a lot of people see that I moved here 2.5 years ago, and they're like, oh, this guy just got here, and he just this, but it's wild, like. 2021, I was sleeping in the back of my truck chasing music. And so to be in 2025, going to 2026, signed to, one of the best teams in the business, it's like, wake me up or don't wake me up, actually. Let me keep dreaming.
Let this trip just keep going, dog.
100%.
Take me back to the hardships of coming up and really chasing this thing. And when did you start gigging? Like, when did you know I want to be out here doing this? If I got to sleep in my truck, if I'm playing for tips and a beer or two, like, take me back to those days.
Well, I always say, like, I did my first fly gig as a bass player when I was 12 years old. I flew from Charlotte to Orlando. So I've been gigging kind of on and off my whole life.
Wow.
But in 2018 is when I really was like, okay, like, I'm forsaking everything else. There is nothing else. I'm going to go figure out music. And at that point, I kind of moved into this apartment in Chattanooga. I had resigned from my job and kind of hid for 6 months. I was like, I'm going to figure out who I am as a person. Got back in touch with, a lot of the roots I grew up with, and started just surrounding myself with as many musicians as I could, and started kind of chasing it, and was blessed to have played in a lot of other bands as a bass player, so I knew a lot of musicians. So when it was time, I was like, all right, I'm going to step out and be an artist. I could call people that I already knew. We'd played shows together, and I was like, I trust these guys. I know they can, figure it out. Most of them weren't country musicians, but we figured it out together.
That's kind of refreshing though, to have that look of outside the genre, because there's
100%.
so much blending going on. Even though your stuff is undeniably classified as country and Western music, to have those friends and those folks outside of the Nashville bubble has to be a great thing to have.
100%. One of my favorite scriptures, the Bible says, only a fool despises wisdom. And I think one of the biggest blessings of my life is having people who know so much more about music around me. So I can come in and say, hey, this is a country song. This is what it's supposed to sound like. And they can be like, yeah, that's cool. We're going to play it just like that. But it never is going to come out just like that, because the knowledge they have of music and the way they play, it's like, they didn't learn country. They learned every other genre that they were playing. And so like, all right, bring a little bit of that sauce into here, and we'll put that country sauce on it and make something a little bit new,
Yeah, and knowing how the road works with other genres as well, because rock touring is a whole different thing.
Oh, yeah, no kidding.
What was that band experience like? Take me back to being a 12-year-old and doing a fly date going to Chicago.
No, I was going to Orlando.
You were going to
from Charlotte.
Orlando.
Yeah.
You're going to Orlando from Charlotte. Sorry, I heard Chicago there. But what was that gig?
It was basically like a glorified battle of the bands with this band that I was playing with, and then they had all moved to Tennessee, and then like, hey, we're gonna go. We won this competition, won the state of North Carolina, and the nationals were at Disney World. So first and only time I've been to Disney World, and so I remember my mom. We like figured out the money. We got me on the plane. I remember she dropped me off at the airport. And she was like, I had my bass case. She's like, all right, see ya.
You flew by yourself.
Flew by myself. I'll never forget
old.
being on the plane, flying with this guy, and like trying the whole flight, like, hey, bro, like, let me get some of that Bud Light, bro. Let me get some of that. And he was just like, just kept shaking his head at me the whole time. I tried so hard. He never did budge on the Bud Light, but ended up getting down there, had a great time. And it was just kind of an eye-opening experience for me, because I remember that was like, I think the summer of the 7th grade. And so going back into the 8th grade, I was like, oh, like, I might could do this,
Yeah.
Because you come back in, everybody's like, I went to Myrtle Beach this summer, and I was like, yeah, that's cool. I competed against a bunch of bands from across America, and just felt I was the man.
I went to Disney for work.
For work, yeah, exactly. So definitely like started a little bit of that Casanova, oh, I can do this, mentality for sure.
Yeah, where did that branding come from of Casanova?
It's been a nickname on and off for a long time for a plethora of reasons.
Yeah.
And it just kind of stuck as a brand, and I made it my Instagram probably close to 10 years ago maybe, and just been rocking with it ever since. Now it's, a kind of an umbrella brand for a lot of things that we do.
Yeah, dude. Is that was when I remember when we had you down in Key West at our like happy hour rounds, and I remember trying to find you
At
on
Island Dog, right?
At Island Dogs, yeah, Island Dogs. And shout out to Tebow and the team down there. But I remember trying to tag you and stuff, and then I was like, what? Where's his name? And I'm like, oh, it's Cowboy Casanova. What a different kind of thing, which was awesome, dude. What's it been like now getting to go out on the road and do shows? Having that experience when you were younger to now, you're doing the damn thing. You got a label deal. You got a great team around you, and you're out there singing your damn songs in front of people that happen to know them.
It's wild how the younger and that question are still so intertwined for me. This year we had a fun year of opening for some of my favorite acts ever, but the most important for me was the reason that I play country music is because my uncle taught me how to play guitar. And he taught me how to play Country Boy Can't Survive as my first song ever.
Oh, yeah.
So since I was 6 years old, I was like, Bocephus is him.
Yeah.
And then this summer we get the calls like, hey, you want to go open for Hank Williams Jr.? And not only do we get to open for him a couple shows, you get to open for him in Alabama. And I was like, oh, it's on.
Yeah.
And so, we got to go down there, got to meet him, shake his hand, take a couple pictures, and I was like, this is the most full circle moment of all time. I'm every night I have a song coming out of my record this year called I Didn't Choose to Be Country. And I talk about learning how to play the song Country Boy Can't Survive. I'm playing that opening for the Nitty Gritty Band and Hank Williams Jr. And I'm like, trying not to like tear up. I'm like, thank God I got my sunglasses on. You know,
Yeah,
it was
dude.
pretty cool experience.
The full circle moments are kind of my favorite part of being in the music game. And now I'm not a writer, a producer, an artist. I don't sing. Me and Nick like to say that we listen well and we love to tell people and talk about it. You know, it's what we do. But the full circle parts of it with your love of music and now getting to have those moments like you did with Bo Cephas and Nitty Gritty and so many others, it's got to be freaking awesome.
It's wild, you know, driving down the road. As a young artist, I remember the first kind of songs I was listening to were, you know, young Blake Shelton and young Tim McGraw and these guys. And it's, you know, I'm opening on the same bill as Blake Shelton. And what do you think I was when he was playing? I was in the front row with the boys like, holy shit, this man's playing Old Red right now. And I remember hearing this in the back of the Pontiac Sunfire. You know?
Playing Boys Round here, bro. There was nothing like being at the local amphitheater and the local shed. I would go in Jersey, and I remember seeing him and listening to him play Boys Round here.
Just getting down.
Just packing as much Skull wintergreen into my cheek as I possibly could, bro. It was fun.
I did feel like I was in like middle school because it was just me and the band, and we were in Canada. So we didn't have any of our like extended teams. So it was just a few of us, and we're up there, and it's like, we were getting after it. You know, we were putting down some brews and having a good time.
I've heard the Canadian country fans are wild too.
They have been the biggest blessing to us. You know, we started seeing a lot of success in Toronto. It's actually Toronto's my #1 stream city in the world. So
I would not have guessed that.
Shout out to the Toronto family, but shout out to the Utes. That's what they say in Toronto.
The Utes.
I'm gonna get roasted for that one, but we have a good friend of ours, George at Apple Music, has been a big help of ours and big friend, and he kind of put us on some playlists, started catching a little fire in Toronto. We played a lot of shows in Canada this past summer, and it's been fun. It's a wild experience, you know. I play a show back home. You know, there's a few cats. We're still, you know, coming up, and not everybody knows every word. We play shows in Canada, and it's like, how do y'all know the words of these songs that aren't even out yet? And it's like the wildest experience, seeing 12-year-olds know every word to your song, and I'm like, I live 1,500 miles away from you. We're in Vancouver. How do you know this?
Yeah, dude. I remember back in my touring days, I worked with the Muscadine Bloodline guys. I'm part of that same tree that Sam Crabtree's from, you know, where he was out on the road with them. I was a little bit after that, but I was selling their hats and T-shirts to make my living, to pay my rent down here. And I remember them always saying, because they're from Mobile, and they would say, like, it's crazy that they couldn't sell out the room in Mobile, but they could go to Texas or Chicago or Washington State and sell out a room that was even bigger than the room in Alabama.
Such a wild feeling.
Like, it's wild that, like, you would think that the hometown, that a Coyote Joe's in Charlotte or something like that would be like the highest ticket sale, but it could be 1,500 miles away in freaking Toronto with your Utes, you know,
yeah,
dude, it's wild.
They're loving it. So it's crazy too, because, you know, we got to play a lot of cool markets this year, but we played a lot of not country markets, and it was like very refreshing.
Like
experience.
what markets?
Like we're playing like Vancouver and Boston, and, you know, Boston can be a country market in some spots, but, you know, just a bunch of random Connecticut and spots like that, and it's like, you know, you're showing up, you're playing songs, and you're playing, you know, our songs coming out if you're redneck and you know it. You don't expect everyone in Vancouver to be singing along, but you know, every time I say it, I'm like, hey, this is for the rednecks out there, and if you're not a redneck, you can pretend for the next 3 minutes, and by the second chorus, you see all these guys who, you know, have never shoveled no shit before, over there, you know, beers up in the air, they're chiming in with the rednecks, and it's like, okay, cool, like, this is, everyone can understand this, you know?
It reminds me of like the
what they say country is countrywide.
Country must be countrywide. Shout out to Brantley Gilbert and Colt Ford on that one. But it reminds me of how everybody says, like, St. Patrick's Day. Everybody's Irish on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, 100%.
Everybody's a redneck at a Dalton Davis show.
Gotta be.
Everybody
I'll
is.
take that.
They're bought in, man. Like, and growing up in New York, I relate to what you're saying, because I used to go, I mean, I would go to upwards of like 50, 60 shows a year. And I'd go and see Granger Smith doing his Earl Dibbles bit in the heart of New York City at the Irving Plaza. And you'd have people that were just they're such big fans of it, and there's not a lot of it up there, that when a guy like you comes to town, it's a big deal, you know? Like, they can really get after it and get to honky-tonkin' and get to drinking cold beer and smoking darts and going home in their Pontiacs and shit like that, you know, man?
It is funny because you're like, you get to looking out there and like, I wonder where Ian's got these cowboy hats from, because, you know, there ain't no store nowhere close. I was like, I respect.
Yeah, man.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, man. You're getting to do some wild festivals this year. We were talking about before we hopped on here. You're getting to be a part of the Rock the Country series.
Very excited.
Which is our first year. I've been the one where we've popped up and like sold like our hats and T-shirts, but never as involved as we are this year, where we're having our own stage and stuff. And you're getting to play some of those stages.
Come on.
You're playing two of them.
Another full circle moment,
Bro.
Key West to
from
Rock the Country.
Key West to Rock the Country, and you're headlining, I believe, the one up in Buffalo.
First time playing in Buffalo.
Yeah. And I'm from New York. I've never been to Buffalo. That'll be my first time in Buffalo,
Let's
too.
go. I hear there's a pretty, wild country market up in Buffalo. I heard they get down.
Yeah, dude. And you know what's great about Buffalo for you?
What is it?
You know what's right not that far from there?
Where?
The Canadian
Canada.
border.
There you go.
It borders Ontario.
I was like, wait a sec. What's the test here? What am I thinking?
Buffalo right here. We can do it mapped out on the donuts, which we'll get into here in a little bit. But I'm sure there's going to be a lot of your homies from up there, a lot of your fans that came out for the Toronto shows or anywhere in Ontario, they're gonna come across the border, bro.
Love to see them.
Like Buffalo's right freaking there.
Love to hear that.
Genius.
I'm about to let all the boys know.
Oh, they will know. I'm sure they have it marked on the calendar too. And what's gonna be great is you're gonna have a bunch of Canadian folks because that's like the Red, White, and Blue Festival, decked out in stars and stripes and cowboy hats, just ripping cigs. And it's 9/11 weekend, which is like a very patriotic weekend
In New York too.
In New York, in upstate Western New York, man. We might have to do some content where we eat chicken wings up there.
Let's go.
Buffalo's known for the wings, obviously. Buffalo wings, and I've never been there and had them. So if I'm gonna have my first buffalo wing, I feel like it should be with you.
I'm down. We're gonna do like the Ray's Rowdy hot ones.
Oh, dude, that might be what we do. It might be tough we'd have to do that after you play and after I introduce you. We could do that a little bit later in the night when neither of us have to get on a microphone again. But that could be a fun little bit.
Let's run it.
And you're doing one down in Florida as well, Ocala, Florida,
Florida,
which is one of the bigger ones, man.
Very excited about that.
Ocala's wild. I'm
excited to be playing some warmer markets. We've been playing a lot of cold shows lately.
Yeah. It's funny that they send you. You would think that in the winter months you'd be hitting the southeast and be hitting the southwest and dipping into Texas. But I've done that too, where it's like we might have to drive through snow for this gig.
We drove from Montana to Calgary and Calgary to Vancouver in December.
Bro, what a haul!
Or into November.
That is a haul. What are you touring in?
Kind of a sprinter setup with a trailer.
Oh, so y'all are really
getting after it.
Yeah. That's a lot of miles.
Up close and personal.
That's a lot of miles. And that's people that don't know that Calgary to Vancouver and even Montana, that's a lot of mountains. You're going through some
drove through the Colorado Rockies, through past Banff.
Did you guys see storm? Did you guys drive through any storms as you were going?
We didn't see too many storms, but there was snow surrounding us everywhere. And it had been snowing off and on kind of the whole time we were there. So we luckily didn't get caught in too much of it, but we got to see a lot of it.
Yeah, man, it's wild. There's something about like you pop out for that cig or that beer with your boys outside like before the show, and you're from the green room and you're just feeling it, and then you get on stage and it warms you right up. It's that rush. You still find a way to be sweating.
Shout out to the Canadians. A lot of the venues they have like. Looks like a old school phone booth, but it's for the cigarettes.
Really?
Oh man, that thing is a blessing. Because right before the show, you need a quick smoke. You go get in the little hot, stale phone booth, and it don't smell great, but it sure does beat the hell out of the wind.
Some of the most degenerate shit I've ever heard, and I love it.
I'm here for it.
I almost want to go to Canada just to experience that.
I feel like all Waffle Houses should install one of those.
Yeah, dude.
Bring back smoking sections.
Yeah, man. It's funny.
Hot take of the day.
Yeah, hot take of the day for sure. I remember going like growing up, going to restaurants in New York, and it was like going to like the Bennigan's or the Chili's, and it was like, or the TGI Fridays, and it was like, the smoking section by the bar, and my mom would be so mad when we'd have to sit in the smoking section. I was like 5 or 6 years old, dude. But yeah, man, make the smoking section back, man.
I feel like a lot of people my age relate to this, but I can remember my mom being a waitress at a fish camp in North Carolina.
Really?
Where they had a fish camp. I mean, they had a smoking side and a non-smoking side. There was no, real barrier in between. I think there was like a half retaining wall.
Yeah.
And my mom would work the smoking side and sit me in the non-smoking side until she was done. And I'm like, all right, well,
you're still getting.
Yeah.
You're still getting.
I'm still smoking cigarettes today.
It's a closed room.
Shout out to moms.
Yeah, shout out Mama Davis.
Mama Jarvis.
Mama Jarvis.
Oh, yeah,
Mama Jarvis. Shout out Mama Jarvis. I got you. What was your family dynamic like growing up? You got a lot of brothers and sisters and stuff, or what?
I have 2 brothers and sisters and 2 stepsisters. I had to think about how to word that one.
Yeah.
But me and my brother and sisters are pretty close. They're everybody thinks I'm the wild one. I think I might be the most tame out of the 3. So
really?
There's some pistols, that's for sure.
Yeah. Are they still all back in the Carolinas?
No, honestly, I only have like some cousins and some grandparents still living in the Carolinas. Most of my family lives in Georgia now.
Oh,
My
nice.
sister lives outside of Atlanta and has a little basketball team full of kids running around.
Nice.
And so a lot of the families move there, and they all get to grow up with the kids. So
That's cool, dude. Have you gotten to do shows in Georgia where the family's gotten to come out to some shows and stuff?
a few, and I think we have a couple this year we might pull off. So that'll be fun.
Nice. That'll be a cool feeling, man.
I usually see a lot of them when we play. We played Charleston this year, and
Yeah.
a lot of them drove down because Charleston's not too far from.
Where in Charleston did you play?
It was an
Was that the-
amphitheater downtown.
Was that the music? Was it the music farm or there's the they do stuff at the tennis facility too. Like Eric Church did a show at a tennis court. I'm like, what do you mean they're doing they have an amphitheater at their tennis court? I'm like, that's very Charleston of them, you know?
It's not the Pinnacle. I can't remember what it was called, but it's like a kind of like an outdoor amphitheater surrounded by all these like outdoor bars and
nice.
shipping container things. It was a pretty cool setup.
Well, yeah, because I've done Isle of Palms out there, the Windjammer.
Oh, yeah.
That's a cool spot.
That's a fun
too.
one.
Yeah, the Carolina scene of like the venues, like I talked about Coyote Joe's a little bit.
Legendary.
Do you have memories going there?
That's the first club I ever snuck into, so I got a lot of memories there. I don't know how many I can talk about, but that was a fun spot growing up around.
Well,
sure.
were you sneaking in there for shows or just the house band stuff? Because the house bands are great there too.
I knew a lot of cats who played in the house band, so I was like sneaking in to see them play or sneaking in, just to have a good time. So
Yeah.
depending on the weekend.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite honky tonks. And then the RIP to Coyote Joe's is trashy cousin over in South Carolina, the Blind Horse Saloon in Greenville.
I never made it down to the Blind Horse.
Blind Horse was wild, man. It was like you take Coyote Joe's and you make it like if Coyote Joe's is a modular home or a double wide trailer, Blind Horse was a single wide.
Nice.
It was just a little bit smaller, like shag carpet on the stage. Like it was a lot of fun.
Sounds
man.
like a spot.
Yeah, man. The Carolina country scene, like the folks come out for the shows too.
They get down. A lot of them play too. So I always say, it wasn't really cool to be a musician where I was growing up because everybody could kind of pick around and play or sing a little bit. It was just kind of in everybody's family history, So I feel like a lot of people, when they recognize, like, oh, these guys are really doing it and this is put together, like, oh, yeah, we'll go support this because we like music too,
Yeah, man. It's special stuff. So you talked about it a little bit earlier. I want to pull it out of you.
Uh-oh.
You were talking about new music this year. We're talking, did I hear the word album?
We got an album coming in 2026, that's for sure.
Go.
Very excited. Can't share the date just yet, but it'll be later this year.
But tell me a little bit about the record, the vibe of it, what we can kind of expect, man, because that gets me fired up.
I think it's like full-fledged Dalton Davis, We've kind of been saying it's the baseball field of an album. We have left field, that's, the autobiography, a little bit of, this is the wild shit that we've done in life. You got right field, that's, the cows in the front yard, we're going to have a good time.
The short porch, yeah.
And then we have center field, that's just down the middle, old school country, the shit we grew up on. And it's kind of a hodgepodge of those that tell a love story of being in love, falling out of love, and talking about not choosing to be country and growing up this way and just kind of what life is like for us.
Dude.
I'm very excited.
How many songs on there do we know?
I don't know. Can I share this yet? Yeah?
You don't say the names.
Yeah,
you don't say names of anything, but just how many songs on the project.
We got 12 songs on the main album, and then we're going to do a 5-song deluxe followed up after.
Oh, so 17 new songs.
Yeah.
Let's go, man.
Coming down the pipe.
Let's go. But we got one that we do know that we can talk about on here. Redneck and You Know It. I feel like the title's pretty self-explanatory.
100%.
But fill me in on who you wrote it with, like what the production, like just the feel of that song.
That's another kind of funny write. That was the first write I had with Brad Tersey and Ross Ellis. And
Dude, you're just getting in rooms with legends, bro.
trying to.
These guys are freaking investing in you by writing with you. That's special.
Don't take it for granted at all. Well, I was definitely nervous for that ride because, I know Brad's legacy and I know Ross has written some smashes too. So I was like, oh, shit, I really got to be prepared. So I had this little note of all these ideas. And the week before, I had done a photo shoot with Will Jones. And we're out there and we're like, while the camera break is on, we're shooting the shit. And I was like, man, I got this goofy, if you're redneck and you know it, chorus idea. And I sing it to him and Will's like, man, if you don't write that, I'm going to write it. And so I was like, all right, I think we might have something here. But then I was like, maybe I'll bring it up in this Brad write. And I get in there and I was too nervous. I was like, this is cheesy. Like, they're going to laugh at me. This ain't the move. Like, I got to come up with something real good and heartfelt and serious. We threw a couple ideas out and it was kind of like nothing was landing that day. And I just kind of threw it out there. I was like, hey, you guys might laugh me out of the room, but I have this if you're redneck and you know it idea. What if we chase it down this alley? And I sang the chorus idea that I had, and Brad kind of looked at me and didn't say anything for a second, looked at Ross, and then he just got up and walked out of the room. And I was like, damn, did I just did I piss him off? Like, is he not vibing with this at all? And he goes down and comes back up with an attorney and was like, hey, can we pull this off? And the attorney was listening to it. Said, sing it again. I sang it a couple times. They did a little, yeah, I think you're good. That's whatever you're playing with is public domain. Let's go play ball. And we wrote that song that day. And that was, kind of a cool moment for me because after that day, I started getting phone calls like, hey, we heard this song. Like, what do you want to do with it? And I was like, I don't know. Didn't even have a publishing deal at the time. I like to say that song got me my publishing deal, my record deal, and kind of opened a lot of doors for me. And I had a couple bigger artists call and ask if they could cut it. And they wanted to change it up a little bit, and they wanted to change it from if you're redneck, you know it, to if you're country, you know it. And something about it kind of just rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, man, if you ain't willing to step out on a limb and call yourself a redneck, then I don't want you to sing this song. And so I kind of decided, I was like, you know what, I think I might bet on myself. So I called Messy and said, hey, I need to, well, actually, through my manager, Alex Lunt, we kind of set up, I was like, hey, I really need a producer. The next day, he got a call with Messy. I get on the phone with him. I was like, hey, you want to record this song? He said, why don't you come over tomorrow? We recorded Redneck You Know It. We drank 2 bottles of Casamigos that night and recorded the song that we now have. And it was the beginning of, the perfect relationship. Me and Messy been making music every day ever since together. And, I like to say that's kind of what started it all for us. It's, just a redneck get down.
So why Hold It? You've been putting out songs that you've done with Messy, but that came after doing this one. Is this just that special of a song that you wanted to wait for the perfect time to like kick off the year with it, or what?
I think there's that's kind of a multifold answer. I think, one, like I said, it did open a lot of doors for me. So it was one of those things. It was like, okay, if they're talking about signing me because of this song, I'm not going to put the song out yet until, let's lock a couple of these things
Let's
in.
put a couple logs on the fire, then we pour the gas.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then also, too, I was really excited about not just putting out another song and putting out a body of work. So Cows will be included in the body of work. That was kind of the first single with the label and the first step in this new, unfolding of the rest of the music. And even though it'll come out as a single, I also think Redneck plays an anchor role in the album. So I wanted to wait till the whole body of work was ready to go so it could come out and serve not only the single purpose, but the album purpose as well.
That's awesome, dude. You got me fired up over here, man. I'm freaking stoked for you, dude. And it's full circle thinking back to Key West back in the day, like to where you're at now. And Sam Crabtree just shooting Nick and I say, hey, I got this buddy. Can you throw him on something in Key West? And to see what you've done and how hard you've worked and the career that you're building and still continue to build. What do you do for downtime? Like, what do you do when you're not doing your music stuff? Because it gets to be a lot, man.
As far as the label's concerned and the team, I don't have any downtime. Because if they knew that I did, I'd be doing something else. But, we like to hunt as much as we can. Had a good time this past season.
Yeah, has it been a good? Have you gotten some deer?
Yeah, shot a buck in South Texas. Shout out to Russell and the guys down in South Texas. And shot a lot of ducks in Illinois with Rob Hatch. We've been getting after a pretty good bit. Getting ready. My favorite time of year, turkey season, is just right around the corner. So it's game time. We have a potential tour right now that runs the day after opening season, pretty much throughout turkey season. So if we end up locking that one in, I'm going to be making a lot of new friends across the country. Hey, can I kill that turkey in your backyard?
Yeah, Gary used to do that with Muscadine, where he's gone out and tried to get I forget what the name of it is, but where you kill a turkey in every state.
The Grand Slam.
The Grand Slam. And he's taken a lot of them. And a lot of it comes from just finding fans and
asking permission.
Yeah, asking permission, and the guys and girls take them out and they go kill turkeys. So that is a great strategy. I mean, if you're touring in like Maine, you could get a turkey in Maine, and you're playing a show.
Nebraska,
or Nebraska, or South Dakota, or
wherever
Oklahoma.
You got 'em.
Yeah, Wyoming, like literally wherever, bro.
We play a song. It'll be on the record too. That's this year. It's called Hunting Land, and we play it every night. And it's just talking about it's hard to go hunting if you ain't got land. And it's always my kind of leeway of like, okay, cool. Like, if you're really into hunting, come talk to me at the merch booth. And it's always like, hey, we'll play any song you want us to play all night long if we can hunt in the morning.
Yeah.
I'll come to wherever bonfire you want. Wherever you want me to hunt at, y'all hear that. If you got hunting property, I'll come see you.
That's awesome, dude. What's something that you would tell that kid? Because how old are you, Dalton?
30.
You're 30. Okay, so we're same age. Yeah, we're same age.
Getting old.
We're same age. I'm turning 31 very soon.
Me too. A couple months. So.
Really, yeah. So we're right on that. But what would you tell that guy that was sleeping in his car chasing music, to telling him what you know now of where your life is at. You're putting out a record with a big time label. You're on festival dates with freaking Kid Rock and Jason Aldean and all these big folks. You've gotten to see all of North America and do all this cool stuff. What would you tell that guy that's doing it just because he loves it and is stuck sleeping in the back seat of his car?
I think belief is the biggest thing. There were plenty of times I was sleeping in the back of that truck and I could have been like, this ain't gonna work. I don't believe it. I'm gonna give up and just go keep framing houses like I was doing or laying brick or whatever, But I always believed this is gonna work no matter what comes against me. Like, this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm gonna do it. The Bible again says, without faith, works is dead. Since I was a little kid, my mom's been telling me, one day you're gonna get up and play music in front of a lot of people. And she just ingrained it into my head to the point that I was naive enough to, wild enough to sleep in the back of my truck and be like, all right, it doesn't matter what it takes. Like, I'm still going to do this. And I'm going to get up, go to work today and still go to that gig tonight because this is all I have, And I remember September the 9th, 2021, I was sleeping in the back of my truck and I took a picture that day and I was like, this is the last time I'm ever going to sleep in this truck. And I kept believing that. And there's plenty of times, I moved to town on the back of another deal that fell through and was supposed to sign this publisher deal and it didn't go through. And, thankfully, because it led me to the place that I'm at now, exactly where I need to be. But there's plenty of times where I could have been like, this ain't for me. And there's plenty of times where I thought a couple times like, damn, maybe this is just a little bit too far out of my reach. But I just was ignorant enough to keep believing. Like, you know what? If I just believe this more than anybody, if I believe I'm going to make it more than they believe I'm not going to, they're not going to beat me. I like to say there's a lot of cats in town who can outplay me and outsing me. You're going to be hard-pressed to find some cats to outwork us. And so that's the thing is if you keep believing and work, can't nobody beat you.
Amen, buddy.
Amen.
Amen. I'm ready to go out there and run on the football field right now, buddy. You have me all jacked up. I love it, man. And you can't count out the dog that's got a lot of fight.
100%.
And that's so much because this industry, it beats you down, man. It beats you down. It's a roller coaster. It really is. And if you hang on, man, you're going to get to the finish line.
It's definitely I'm a big fan of boxing. The amateurs are 3-round fights, 3-minute rounds. And, a lot of cats have a lot of success in the amateurs, but when you get to the pros, that's a 12-minute fight. And that's 12 rounds of getting your ass kicked. And that's definitely where we're at right now. We're just trying to hang on to the decision bell, and hopefully we can throw a knockout punch here to the end.
I'd say you're hitting them with some pretty good jabs and hooks right now,
and
brother.
Trying to dodge as many back as we can see.
I'd say so, buddy. I'd say so. What are you most excited for about 2026? Like, what are the big goals for this year?
So hard to say. It's such an exciting year. Messi just got his first number one of 2026 as a writer on Meg Roney's new song 6 months later.
Oh, nice.
And so I was at the studio last night and he was like, yeah, man, it's my first number one of the year. Let's try to go get another one. And I was like, well, shit, that's a lot of pressure. So let's get after it. I'm really excited just to have, new music coming out. Cows came out in October and was just a DSP release, and then was the 4th most added song to country radio and got added to almost 30 stations. And so it's like, okay, if that's where we started at, where are we going next,
Yeah.
And just excited. We've been really digging in with the band, and I think we're really at a spot, too, now. It's like, we got the chemistry we've been really dialing in for, and we're ready to go get after it. So I'm more excited than ever just to play. I haven't played a show with the band since December 12th, and then we did a live recording yesterday of Redneck and You Know It.
That had to feel so good to get back with the boys.
Man.
It's like when you're
I'm itching. I'm like, get me. Oh, let's go. Let's go.
When you're in the middle of the shit and you're touring and you're driving from Calgary to Vancouver through the barren, frozen tundra, you're like, I can't wait for this time off to go kill some deer and relax a little bit and do stuff here. But then once you get sitting on your couch and you're not on the road every weekend, you're like, I can't wait to get back in the van with the boys.
100%. I'm like, let's get after it. We had the rehearsal Tuesday night, the recording Wednesday, and it's just for one song. So we're all like, what's next?
Yeah.
Like we felt like we got to the edge, and we're like, oh, come on, like let's play ball.
Yeah,
So,
dude.
Very
Man.
excited.
That's awesome, man. I'm very excited to see where this year takes you and where we're beyond, man. What's it been like hearing your song on country radio? Like, because you grew up, you're a small town guy. So the radio's always, I'm sure, been a huge part of your life, your family's life, your friends' lives. And now you have a song that folks all around the world are hearing.
I think maybe I'm just still an old soul, but, even in a DSP days, radio's the pinnacle for me. I grew up, like you said, like that was it. You weren't cool if you didn't have a song on the radio. And we were in Canada the first time. They played my song 103.3. Shout out to Travis Daly and the squad, but they played us first and gave us a little intro, and it was, insane to hear. But, it was one of those things where it was so unreal to believe. You're like, oh, okay, it was just a one-time thing. Like, he was just, maybe throwing us a bone. He plays this on the radio. And then there's so many times since then I'm just driving to go hunt or to go to the dumps to throw some trash out, and the next thing you know I'm like, and I turn the radio up, I'm like, oh shit, that's me on the radio, and it's the craziest experience. I can't tell you how many calls or texts I've got. Hey man, I'm at a bar in Minnesota, or I'm at a truck stop in Fort Worth, and your song is playing here, and I'm like, what is happening? You know, it's just the coolest experience. It's what I always said, like, that was one of the biggest things for me. One day I want to hear myself on the radio. My goal was always to pull up to a stoplight and hear somebody listening to me on their radio in the car next to me. So I still haven't had that yet. So if you hear me on the radio and I'm close to you, pull up and roll your window down. But it's very exciting.
That's awesome, man. Well, dude, I appreciate the hell out of you coming on here and hanging. And now we can get into some of these donuts. Thank you for bringing the donuts.
Absolutely.
I got some gifts for you as well. We got ball caps over there. You and the team, if you guys want to grab some hats and stuff. And then
I'm leaving with the surf.
And then I got an
sides.
8-pack of Surfside for you, the iced tea variety pack. So no bubbles, no troubles. Enjoy.
I'm loving this one right here.
There you go, man. That's good. Give you a little bit of caffeine here to get the day going a little bit, man. Well, brother, I appreciate you, and very excited for Redneck and You Know It to be coming out. It'll be out by the time this episode airs, so y'all be sure to go out and stream that, and then get out there and request at your local radio station. People say it doesn't do anything anymore, but I'll tell you what. You breathe down a program director or a radio guy or girl's neck to play a Dalton Davis song, and they have it in their playlist, they will play that song. So all the support helps. And, brother, I can't wait to rock the country with you this year.
We're going to get after it.
It's going to be something, man.
First time in Buffalo.
First time in Buffalo.
Stay tuned for the hot ones.
Dude, the hot ones, man. Me and Nikki going to be sweating. It's going to be, I'm already dreading
Maybe
it.
we'll bring in one of the guys from the band, too, and just make it an equal playing field, 2v2.
Dude, yeah, maybe we do that. That'd be great. Start thinking of which of your guys would be the hot wing guy, and then we could have some Surfside there to wash him down with.
Yeah, perfect.
So it'll be sick, dude. Well, appreciate you. Everybody give Dalton a follow. Look up Cowboy Casanova, and be on the lookout, too, for the news on the record that'll be coming at some point.
Coming soon to theaters near you.
To theaters near you. To ears near you. Shout out to our friends from Surfside. No bubbles, no troubles. Always be depleting. Get out there, check them out. They got lemonade, iced tea, green tea. They're rolling out some new flavors as well. Get them wherever you get your booze. And for more on us, visit razoreye.com. For my man Dalton, I'm Matt Burrill. This has been Outside the Round.